Welcome. You're just seconds away from the Brian Brawdy Show, where listener participation is strongly encouraged. Well, unless of course you're easily triggered, then listener discretion is strongly advised. And if you fall into the latter camp, why don't you just mortal up already?
You're listening to the Brian Brawdy Show here on RadioBrian.com. Unfettered, unfiltered, unafraid.
Good afternoon and welcome to episode 539 of the Brian Brawdy Show, as we like to call it around here. It's all about the heat, and as you know, as I like to call it, what is this moment we're in right now? The single greatest time in all of history to be alive. There is no time that beats this time, this moment, this hour. No time beats this hour in terms of rivaling the greatest moment in your history to be alive. It's right now, and it's all about the heat. We'll get to that in a little bit when we get to our Mortal Up segment. Let me just say welcome back to everyone. We took a couple days off, everyone here at Brian Brawdy Associates, the Brian Brawdy Show, Radio Bry. Pretty much everybody's a veteran, right? So we took a full 2 days to just dig it, to show it, to love it, to make sure that we were capable of being able to fully get it out of our system, if you will, get the Veterans Day out of, just make sure that we paid it the homage that it deserves. Took a couple days off to do so. Now we're back, we're rehydrated, we're fresh, and we're ready to go. As always, let me say hello quickly to Wayne. Wayne, how are you, sir? What's new and exciting?
I'm hanging in there.
Groovy. Thank you for all the work. How was your Veterans Day, let me ask you? Before I jump into it.
I was kind of laid back, relaxing, got a free breakfast.
Oh, a free breakfast. Very nice. Very nice.
So
nothing else exciting?
Nah.
All right. Well, that's good. Well, I will tell you, Wayne, because, here's the thing. If you're listening at RadioBry.com, thank you very much for doing so. If you're watching the live feed over on Facebook, I've had it with Mug Pamphlet. I've just had it, right? Once again, it's telling me, sorry, we're having trouble playing this video. So for everyone commenting on the feed, really sorry about that. But Wayne tells me we're still going out. So we're just going to go ahead and hit it. I don't like Mug Pamphlet anyways. I say it all the time. The only reason, to be honest, that we still kind of do this from time to time is that Wayne puts such a tremendous amount of creative, I don't know if he puts energy in, because maybe this comes like to him, when he's sound asleep, he's just like, oh, this is what I'll create, right? For me, it would be a lot of effort because I don't know anything about this stuff. But I like continuing to do the video because I think, oh, you know what? It highlights everything that Wayne is capable of doing. It's really something else. But as far as Mug Pamphlet, I couldn't. And we're looking at a couple different things. I'd love Wayne, let's do this. Why don't we go ahead and open the phone lines, get it going, and then we'll ask some people about Parler. Do they know what that's all about? A little of this, a little of that. Let's get it going.
The phone lines are open. Now's your chance to mortal up and give Brian a shout, because your opinion deserves to be heard. Dial toll-free 1-833-MORTAL-1. That's 833-MORTAL-1.
And I cannot thank you enough. We're so fired up to have the phone lines open. Don't forget, you can text us also, 833-667-8251. You can call, you can text, you can email us. Brian, and that's Brian with an I, in case you're not, in case we're not caught up. Brian with an I, Brian at RadioBry.com. Let me also say, Brian, I'm here. Sue, this is why you're one of the dearest people to me in the world, right? It's so nice to know, because there's plenty of times I walk through the day, I'm not sure if I'm in the middle of amnesia, especially with everything going on in politics, everything going on in the world today. I'm just not sure if I'm even here. So when I see Sue text, Brian Brawdy, Mortal Up, I'm here, then I kind of know that I'm here, right, Wayne? I kind of know that I'm, at least other people see that I'm here. Because this amnesia thing, there's a difference between, as you know, Wayne, the physical amnesia as opposed to the philosophical amnesia. I think a lot of us have forgotten who we truly are, right? We buy into this watered down mashugana. We buy in, and that's why I say all the time, what do we do at the show? We defend human potency. We defend your natural resources. We defend your authentic vigor, your true grit, stealing from the old John Wayne show, right? We defend those things in you because I think we're busy getting smacked around. I think people think we're just gullible. We'll just fall for anything that's told to us. We're just simply going to drink the Kool-Aid. And at this show, as we like to call it, Liberty's line in the sand, we're standing in the way of anyone standing in the way of you. It's what we do. It's what I'm passionate about. And it doesn't matter. We talk about it in Wing Sauce all the time. It simply doesn't matter. Left wing, right wing, right? Underneath all of it, you still got a chicken, right? People that are afraid that if their particular political point of view is surrendered for 30 seconds so you can let the other side talk, people are enraged by it. So here, we're simply saying, we're outside. Yeah, are we saying that we're a privileged class? Yes, we are. We're absolutely a privileged class. Why are we privileged? Because you and I, we know we're above the fray. We have to decide to slide back into the fray. We have to decide to be thin-skinned. We have to decide to be brittle brains atop balsa wood spines. But for you and me, we know we go through the day going, yeah, you know what? That just doesn't benefit me. I'm not a huge fan. So I think I will rise to the challenge. Whatever fate throws at me, I'm going to go ahead, square my shoulders and go, silly fate. Is that all you brought? That's it. That's what you're going to use to try to derail me from my destiny, is this belief that I'm going to fall for the fake news. I'm going to fall when you say, well, you know, human beings, they really need to be led. They really need the vampire class. It's all about politicians. Yeah, because you and I, let's admit, right? You and I are just too stupid. Right? We've been subject to secondhand stupidity for so long that we go, yeah, Mr. Politician, Miss Politician, please just tell us whatever you think you want. We'll just dovetail. We'll go along with your definition of reality. We'll go along with your meaning in life because, we're just simpletons. We're just, what are we called, Wayne? What's the term? Someone said way back when, I don't remember. Derangeables. What is it?
Deplorables.
Oh, deplorables. Thank you. We're just deplorables. What do we know about anything? We're just us. So yeah, please just run roughshod over us, right? But you and I know that we're not that way, right? And it's easy for them to try to hijack our heads. Now, our hearts, that's a different story. So we know that when we square, you're talking about square your shoulders, look into the mirror. Let your mirror be your scold. Since Jake Tapper stole my word, right? Wayne, let me ask with you. Have you ever heard the word, like in public conversation, have you ever heard the word scold before? I used it a couple weeks back where I said, let your mirror be your scold. Ever hear that term before?
Yes, sir.
All right, right. And then shortly after that, where did you hear it before?
Basically, a long time ago back in New York.
Jake Tapper stole it. Jake Tapper stole it from us. You and I both know that. So here's Jake Tapper now going, I don't want to be a scold, right? After we said, hey, let your mirror be your scold. It's easy for them to hijack your head. Your heart, totally different story. Look into the mirror. Do you believe all the crap that's said about you? Do you believe all the negative press? Do you believe all the fake news? Do you really, truly, in your heart, in your gut, in your spine, do you believe the things that are said about you? If you're like me, you don't. And maybe you haven't quite gotten there yet where you say to people, look, just as a disclaimer, I couldn't care less. I just couldn't care less. Less like bottom of the Marianas Trench. It couldn't go any further on the surface of the earth. Couldn't drop down. That's how less I could care about your opinion of me or what I think or what I say, which is why we often launch the disclaimers. Hey, look at that, Wayne. That was perfect timing. Why don't we launch the disclaimer now? If that's the right one, even.
The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent.
See, that was perfect timing. So just because they're my views, it doesn't mean that it touches Counterpunch.media, who's our, we don't have the U-Haul sponsors anymore because everyone decided that their guy won in the presidential race. So now they're staying here, clogging up the line over at Best Buy, if you ask me. That's all they're doing, right? So we have that going for us, I guess you could say. But So we don't have them as sponsors anymore, but for Counterpunch Media or Certifiable Brilliance, then the views are my views, not necessarily anyone else's. All right, speaking of views, let me thank everyone here on Facebook. Thank you so very much, including me, apparently. Thank you. I give myself a thumbs up as well. Thank you very much. Also, over on YouTube, if you're watching, and if you're taking us as your virtual hitchhiker, if you're like, hey, it's great to be out and about running around. UPS, I shouldn't even said that. All right, forget I said that. A major carrier that drives a brown truck, my brown truck, said to me the other day, hey, I was listening to your show. Someone else said, hey, I was listening to your show while I was out and about running around. We love being a virtual hitchhiker. So if you're listening at radiobry.com, thank you so very much for doing so. And if you're listening to mortalup.com, maybe you're over on our webpage listening there as well. Now, the rebroadcast, you're probably catching it if you are on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio. Thank you all so very much. We super appreciate it. All right, Wayne, let's go ahead. What's going to be our first segment for today? There are just sometimes they leave you no choice, and you gotta throw down some Yiddish. Media mania. Because Meshuggah is just too hard to spell. It is hard to spell, even if you work for C-Scam, right? It is hard to spell Meshuggah. So I just said, look, right? If you want me to get all worked up, and I ordered one of those spritzer bottles, Wayne, it should be here over the weekend. One of those bottles with the little fans on them with you squirt fresh air. It kind of cools you off. And here's the thing. Here's why we're going after the New York Crimes, the Washington Compost, Circus News Network, Spitter, Pure BS, as you know it, PBS, MSNBC, Meet the Mess with Chuck Todd, C-Scam, and of course, National Propaganda Radio. The reason that we're busy going after that is we've talked about this for months now, is that we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak, right? We don't speak in general. We don't paint with a very broad brush here at the Brian Brawdy Show. So, as you've heard me say countless times, and as we will, as we roll into this next segment, are all cops bad? Absolutely not. Are all doctors bad? Absolutely not. Are there some bad apples in both? Sure. But are a percentage of them, are they bad folks? No, not at all. Let me see. Are all lawyers bad? That's percentage is probably skewed, but you get to where I'm saying, right? So we don't paint with a broad brush. We don't say never. We don't say always. We don't say everybody, right? Because we realize in any kind of debate, not that you're going to want me to throw down Robert's rules of order, but in any kind of debate, when you say always or never, all I have to do is find one counterexample, and then you look like a lunatic, right, Wayne?
Yeah.
If you say, well, it's the sun always comes up at 6 o'clock in the morning. What if I'm in a different time zone? It's 8 o'clock, sun's still not up. You look like an idiot. Take it from somebody that knows, right? So when we say always, when we say never, when we paint with a very broad brush, we only leave ourselves up for trouble, right? Wouldn't you say, Wayne?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Absolutely. Oh, thank you very much. Yes, I do enjoy it. We did a little bit of interior decorating to try to, to help with the sound. And also, thank you very much for noticing. Thank you very much. Don't forget, you can text me, 833-667-8251. It comes right in here to the show. Also, Brian@radiobry.com. You can send in an email, or you can call us, 833. It's toll free, 833-MORTAL, and the numeral 1, because around here, if you're still alive, you're number one in our book. So, Wayne, why do you want to do this, the segment you produced first, or do you want me to do the little spiel about why we don't paint with a broad brush and then highlight your creativity? What would you like to do?
Well, let's go with the segment, and you can talk over it.
Talk over it. All right, sounds good. Let's see. What do we got? What do you got going for us today? Ooh, Main Street Media. Insist there is no evidence of election fraud. Oh, okay, so this is why I was talking about that. And has there been a miracle or a resurrection? Well, I'm always up for a miracle. The following is a list of 2020 voters and the year that they died. Wait a minute. So they've been dead. Wow, that guy's been dead. Elizabeth, she's been dead. It's a unique spelling of the name Elizabeth. She's been dead since 2008. James, God rest your soul. 2019. Look at Thomas. Really been dead for a decade. And you here's the thing I love about this, Wayne. This is some breaking news. This is where we should be doing. Well, we'll do that coming out of the segment. But here's what we're saying. Is there election fraud? Yes. Is it widespread enough to overturn an election? Who knows? But simply saying that there's no evidence of election fraud is not the case. How is it that all these people that have been died used a Ouija board to cast their ballots from beyond the grave? How is that possible? So when we hear all the time, there's no fraud in the election, that's technically not true. Now, if you want to say there's not enough fraud to reverse the decision, now you're telling the truth, right? But is there fraud? Did dead people vote? Here's just a list of some of them that Wayne put together. No evidence of election fraud. How do people even get away with saying that kind of stuff? Hello, Edward. Thank you for using a Ouija board, or thank you, and communicating, as I said, from beyond the grave. So here's the thing. Here's what we're simply suggesting. We get into, as everyone gets in trouble, when you use a broad brush to paint all of these strokes, right? When you say everyone or everything or never or always or everybody, right? Or there's no evidence. Yes, there is evidence, because one case of election fraud is, wait for it, somebody hit a drum roll. Right. One case of election fraud means that election fraud exists, right? What is it called, Wayne? The guy's book, I loved it. Yeah, my memory, you can't count on it anymore. The guy's, the White Swan, the Black Swan, Dark Swan, Black Swan, whatever the theory is, right? As long as you can find one thing that's counter to your claim that it never happens, then if you say it never happens, you're a lunatic. So maybe a part of what everyone is saying, a part of everyone that's being slammed is like going, oh, well, you know, there's election fraud. Well, no, there isn't. No such thing as election fraud. Right? No such thing. All right, just gibberish. But here's the thing. One example of it means that it, in fact, exists. Now, if you want to come out and say, look, great, election fraud, but there's not enough to overturn what we've projected, what the media has projected as a poll winners, right? There's not enough to overturn it. Then who can argue with that? Yes, there was election fraud, and no, there's not enough of it, or yes, there is enough of it, whatever wing sauce you're eating, whatever, you know, whatever it is that you're drinking right now, right? But to say there was no election fraud makes you a fraud, because there was election fraud. So let me get this straight. Wayne, how many ballots were cast? Speaking to all the brainiacs out there, how many ballots were cast, Wayne?
150 million?
Well, let's say ballpark, 150 million. So it's your position when you say there's no election fraud, zero election fraud, all a myth. Not one example, not one /100, not one 150 millionth, right? Not one time did somebody falsely fill out a ballot. Not once. That's your position. When you say there's no election fraud, not once did it happen. If you go, nope, no election fraud, you're the fraud. You're the idiot. You're the asshat. And now, Wayne, because I promised that I was going to watch my cussing, we agreed that ass is a word is okay, right?
Ass is okay.
Ass. Oh, see, great. George Carlin is applauding from the grave. Fantastic. Right? So it's not the 7 words you can't say on TV anymore. Ass is okay. So you're an asshat. If you say there's no such thing as election fraud, you're an asshat, because there is. The dividing line is there enough to overturn the election? Who knows? I get an idea. Why don't we wait until, what is it, like sometime in December, I think, or at least for the certifications, let the votes be certified. If it's taken them forever to count them, which is always amazing to me. We can build the particle accelerator in CERN. We can be doing a radio show right now with technology. Wayne's in one city. I'm in one city. People listening are listening from all over the world. If the analytics are correct, they're listening from all over the world. We can master that technology, but we can't figure out how to have a voting machine. The election day, when I went, Wayne, they passed out this little stylus, very nice little pen. I don't know what I'll use it for. Oh, other than cleaning the wax out of my ears. But they passed out this little stylus, and in a plastic bag, it said made in China. I no sooner read the stylus that said made in China, where the young gentleman said, oh, but those machines crashed overnight. We can't figure. Something went wrong. There's a glitch in these machines, so you're gonna have to vote by hand. Of course, nobody there had a pen because everyone was betting on the stylus. So everyone's busy, right? No social distancing, no mask, no nothing going, hey, brother, can I borrow your pen? There had to be 20 of us use the same pen, all huddled around trying to cast a vote, and we had to borrow pens. Why? Because the stylus made in China, apparently that's the only place we can get them, right? I don't know why you couldn't use a Q-tip. I'm using it to clean my ears, right? I don't know how that doesn't work. But we couldn't do it. Are you telling me with everything we're capable of in this country, we can't have a system where everyone can believe that it's factual, that it's honest, that it's ready to go? That's all I'm saying. All right, Wayne, I know we're going to run. It's yours for the next 15 seconds.
You know what the cause was for the system crashes?
No.
For the first time in history, they did a software upgrade the night before Election Day.
God love them. God love them. Because they wanted to keep their finger on the pulse, Wayne. I don't say, right?
Yeah.
They wanted to do an upgrade. That's it. They wanted an upgrade, right? So they did it the night before. Where were they a week before? A month before? Did they not know that these machines were going to be used until like 24 hours out? Talk about a countdown. Look, the crew was already in the cockpit. They were already in the space shuttle. The countdown had already begun. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
All right. We'll be back after this.
Portions of this broadcast have been pre-recorded.
Why? Because you can't get these people to hit a call time. They're the worst. Nah, I'm just kidding. We love our guests. Yes, we do. We love our guests. Absolutely. Thank you so very much for being a part of the show. A whole new level of stupid. Patricia, nice to see you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. And the counter Brian, she's got to roll over when you say, oh, I can't believe you said counter Brian. But my alter ego, if she'll accept that, thank you so very much, my alter ego, for making an appearance. Super appreciated. And Patricia, just so you know, apparently I haven't figured out how to work these keyboards. I'm trying to give the fact that you're on a whole new level of stupid a heart, but even this computer doesn't even work to do that. Mug Pamphlet doesn't even want me giving a heart to a friend like Patricia. So I don't know what the heck's going on. Heck, didn't say that. There's a time delay. I don't know what the heck's going on. All right, Wayne, so where are we next? What do you want to do now? Lowlifes making headlines. Or as we like to call it around here, brains that make your blood boil. Here's your brittle brain atop a balsa wood spine for today. Call off the choppers, National Guard, stand down. I was able to give Patricia a heart here on Mug Pamphlet. A whole new level of stupid. As I say, Patricia, speaking of a whole new level of stupid, I'll get to that in just a minute. Wayne, don't keep the graphic up, please. A whole new level of stupid. That relates to your polling place. Well, it relates to everybody's polling place. Look, if you can't figure out how to tabulate the votes, and it's only been 6.5 years, days, months, weeks, whatever, who cares? Do your job. Do your job. I'm so sick of these people going, does this happen to you? And let me know if it does. You can send us a text, 833-667-8251. Drop us an email. Let me get back in here. So we're going to have a text coming in. Here's another thing that grates on my nerves. You'll call someone and they go, oh, because of the Wuhan wheeze, because of the coronavirus, it's going to take us like forever to return your call. Look, if you're running a company and you can't figure out how to use a phone system to ring you wherever you are, pack it in. If nothing else, run for the Attorney General in the state of Michigan. All right, Wayne, here we go. So today's lowlifes making headlines. Brains that make your blood boil. I've got one for you today, although I don't know how to pronounce her name. Dana Nessel? Is that it? You're a Michigander.
Nessel.
Wayne, was it?
Nessel.
Of course it is. Dana Nessel. Look at that smug little look on her face. Michigan Attorney General Nessel threatens journalists with criminal prosecution over Detroit leaks. Now, Detroit leaks, is that the lead leaking into their water? What are Detroit leaks? Because she's threatened them with criminal prosecution over the lead levels in Detroit's water? Okay, nope. I'm sorry. What is Detroit leaks?
The Detroit leaks has to do with the audio and video of, what do you call them? Whistleblowers.
Oh.
From the Detroit processing center while they were counting votes.
Oh, so it has nothing to do with lead in the water?
No.
All right, so let me get this straight. She's threatening journalists with doing the job of reporting the news, right? For the good journalists, and there's a ton of them. The good journalists that are left.
Yeah.
They're trying to report the news. So what does she say? She's threatening them with criminal prosecution for expanding on their First Amendment right to report the news?
Basically, she's accusing them of distorting the truth.
Distorting the truth. You know what? I wish we had that thing, Wayne, from Tom Cruise. You can't handle the truth. What was that? A Few Good Men. Or maybe it was Jack Nicholson. That's what we should do. We should try to get that clip, Wayne, right? And every time we have something like this, we just go of him screaming back, you can't handle the truth. I think that would be the way to do it. All right, so she's threatening to prosecute journalists for doing their job.
Right, and what she seems to forget, I'm guessing, she probably needs to go back to law school.
Maybe so.
Because between the 1920s and the 1940s, the Supreme Court applied all clauses of the First Amendment to every state, city, federal, state, local government.
Oh, look at you trying to get truth to taint the process. Who cares about guys and girls in robes making laws? Clearly in Michigan, I don't even know how you live there, brother. Clearly in Michigan, your attorney general can say this. Then who was it that turned around and said they can extend election day, even though the court says you can't do it? They were like, pound off, we're doing it anyways. What the heck is going on in Michigan? That was
Pennsylvania.
Oh, that was Pennsylvania? Sorry.
Yeah.
For all the Michiganders listening, I apologize for throwing you under the bus. All right, so your attorney general in Michigan, right? Not to mention your governor, what is her name? Alyssa Milano in Michigan, right? Governor
Whitmer.
Alano. Is it Alano or Milano? What?
Whitmer.
Oh, crap, that's right. It's Governor Whitmer, who looks like Alyssa Milano. That's why I had the two in my mind. All right, but what else did she say here? Michigan Attorney General, I'm assuming this is a quote, Trump's lawsuit insinuate black people are corrupt. Now, here's this whole thing about a cult of personality, Wayne, as you know. I've not been a fan of people that suggest that want to label you, that want to talk about painting with broad brushes. All these people screaming this, they're insinuating that we're somehow trying to be racist in the situation. So is your attorney general, sharp as a knife as she is, I'm sure she went to like Slippery Rock Community College Law School. Good for her. God love her. She's not going to make a job doing anything else. She's not going to be a runway model anytime soon with that smug look on her face. All I'm suggesting is, right, all I'm asking you is, is one person that's alleged to have been involved in voter corruption, if just one person isn't black, then her statement on its face makes her an asshat. That's all I'm suggesting. All right, don't forget, toll free, give us a call, 833-MORTAL, 1-833-667-8251 if you want to scratch it out. If you're going to scratch it out, send us a text if you like. Also, don't forget, a good portion of the show is just like a gauntlet. You don't have to agree with me. A lot of people don't agree with me. Send me a text. Let me know what you're thinking. It comes right in here in the studio. And, of course, you can email me, brian@radiobry.com. All right, Wayne, we got a ton to get to, I know. Let's jump to the bottom of the hour, and then we will be right back.
You're listening to The Brian Brawdy Show. Why? Because you know the truth when you hear it. He'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Brian Brawdy Show, brought to you by our good friends at Counterpunch Media and Certifiable Brilliance. It's time to buckle up. Buckle up, or as I like to call it, as you know, mortal up. We're very excited about that. Wait a minute. Hold on 1 second, please. All right, you know what this means, Wayne.
Check this out.
That's right. That's the sound of an actual. Well, before that, it was the sound of me taking a sip of a drink. After that, it was an actual sound of a gong. That's right here in the studio. Our breaking news gong can mean only one thing. Just getting a text. Michigan Republican state senators are calling for an audit of the votes. And Wayne, the only reason I pick up some on this news is if right, because you live in Michigan, I figure, oh, you're going to want to know some of the things that are going on. You're busy in here producing the show. So, right, this which always do this. Oh, and guess what, Wayne? Guess what county they're from?
Wayne County.
Wayne County. See, there's a double hit. So a poll watcher gives his account of the illegal practices he claims he saw in Michigan's Wayne County. And the Trump campaign says all American voters should be able to trust in the election process. Well, of course that is. But here's my question, Wayne. Is it possible that one out of 150, so 150 millionth, could it be possible that someone with nefarious intent cast a wrong vote or tried to count someone that was dead? Possible, yes or no? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. So it's entirely possible that that could happen. Now, to be honest, it's entirely possible that there's people out there running around going, oh, I can get myself on TV. I'll get myself on TV if I just say I witnessed something. That's why you have these guys and girls running around in their black robe Halloween costumes waiting to settle all of this, right? That's all I'm suggesting is that we'll let the process play out. Is this guy telling the truth? I don't know. We didn't say he was telling truth just because we've had the breaking news gong to tell us what was going on. But that's what they're saying now, Wayne. They've got a whistleblower that said, oh, I saw nefarious activity. And so we're going to go ahead. Those hand counts. You know, I tried to explain this the other day to someone that was discussing, well, I think there should be a hand count. Well, I just to make sure people knows that hand counts mean you got a ballot. You got the person sitting in front of the ballot. You got a Republican judge. You got a Democratic judge. And by judge, I mean witness. You got somebody standing there to debate if the count isn't right. Do they think that's the right way to count it? So when you talk about, right, when you talk about recounting by hand, it takes a ton of time. It's just not like you go back to these Dominion machines, right? The ones that, right, that did the software update, right? Now, look, let me just say, all kinds, there's major league players in baseball. Maybe a manager changes his mind just a few hours before the opening pitch. Maybe a pitcher isn't feeling too well. So a Major League Baseball manager goes, you know what? Let's forget that. Let's go with another pitcher, changes the scorecard. But I've never heard of it before in political vote tallying machines. It just seems different to me. It just seems strange to me. That's all I'm saying. All right. Don't forget the phone lines are open, 833-MORTAL-1. And you know, by now, you know the story behind it. If you're alive, you're the number one mortal, especially if you call in. You're the number one mortal to me. Your opinion deserves to be heard. Now, it may agree with my opinion. It may not agree with my opinion. But darn it, it deserves. See, Lil Wayne, did you like how I didn't cuss there? Darn it, it deserves to be heard. As Patricia just says, who cares how much time it takes to count? Right? If it is a close election recount, Patricia, this will surprise you. And then Wayne, you have to let me know what you think about this as well. If he's the president-elect, let's just say, right? Let's just say that Joe Biden ends up winning, right? After the recount, he ends up winning. How long is it that they expect to wait before you can give some of his staff, or I'm assuming if there isn't a lid, right? He's like who's the guy in Sesame Street in the garbage can that comes up and knocks the lid. If there isn't a lid on Joe Biden, if there isn't a lid and he's actually coming out, look, there's a chance it could, right? Let's just say you believe it could go either way. Then when did they start giving the intelligence briefings to who could be the president-elect? Could be. You don't know until, as Patricia says, let's just recount, right? So that we can say, hey, here's how it goes. But how much longer? I don't know. I say give them the security briefing, right? Stories this morning where some of the people weren't even telling the president, the real president, not the president-elect, the real president, what was going on at the Pentagon, right? So then you misled one president already, just mislead another president. That's all. But I kind of wonder when they go, well, we're not giving any security briefings. Well, pretty soon we're going to have to. I don't want whoever's sworn in January going, holy crap, I didn't see that coming. I don't understand that rationale. Whoever you voted for, however you think it's going to go down, give the guy the intelligence briefing. If there's stuff that's top secret and you want to keep him from it, the swamp's been lying to the president for 4 years. Why should it stop now? That's all I'm saying. All right, Wayne, I know we're going to run to another segment. Please hit us with it. Oh, please. Enough. Why not give it a rest already? No one around here is drinking your Kool-Aid. Wait a minute. There's Kool-Aid? Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't like Kool-Aid. Too much sugar. Works me up. All right, so, here we go. Giving blue suits a bad name. All right, and listen, I'm going to need a whole list of words that are considered cuss words, Wayne, right? I just have to know what I can and cannot say. Patricia, according to the Bush folks of 2000, if it is close, share the info because it might make a difference. Share the info. I'm with you, Patricia. I'm with you. Let's just get it out in the open, right? Let's just get it out in the open so we can hit the ground running in January, however it turns out. But now, please, Portland mayor. And it's a shame because I love the city of Portland. I really do. I mean, second only to Seattle in that part of the country, right? I just love Portland. It's just a cool place, as is Seattle, right? Right. So in any event, we work your way up the West Coast. It's just beautiful. Just beautiful. But in any event, this brainiac, who very well could have been our brittle brains atop balsa wood spines, our low life's making headlines winner for today, but we just have so much, and I don't want to run out of time, so let's just get to this. Here's the Portland mayor, squeaked by an election, right? Just apparently, according to the polls, barely reelected. But he now has, I guess he's made it mandatory in an attempt to be more inclusive. He's removed gender language from, I guess, what is it? City, the office buildings,
city charter.
What is it, Wayne? What is it?
The city charter, everything that happens in the city.
Everything that happens. So I'm assuming public schools. Yep. Is that true, or is that an assumption? So the please goes out to Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler. Here's the thing, and I've said this for 1,000 times. When we convince people that sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me, when we start to convince an entire generation or multiple generations of folks that nursery rhyme, whatever it is, that cliche was evil, it was false, sticks, stones, and names can hurt your bones, we're gunning to create an entire generation of wimps. And if we can allow other people to get in, like they had a remote control, if you can allow another person, based on the words that they use, to come in and tase, it's like a taser, right, Wayne? If they have a verbal taser, they can come in and point a word at you, and it's going to derail your sense of self. What the heck happened to you?
The parents failed.
The parents absolutely failed. Good Lord.
Failed, 100%.
Absolutely failed. Think about it. So you can't call someone him or her or his. I don't even, right? It's absolute crazy. Why? Because they're going to be triggered. They're going to be offended. It's going to burst their bubble. They're going to be outraged. Well, welcome to the real world. Right? And if you think, oh, this is a way to be inclusive. No, it isn't. Because most of us are sitting back. This maybe should have been a Jen Pissed segment, Wayne. Most of us are sitting back and going, just how delicate are you, little doilies? Just how fragile are you, freaks of nature? You can't see a picture of a handgun. They blur it out anymore on social media. Oh, we don't want anyone triggered. No, we want to be inclusive. No, you don't. You don't want to be inclusive. You want to control people. Because the very first step in controlling people is to convince them they don't have a First Amendment right. I'm sorry. Who is the number one person that's offended by being called her? Can somebody please just tell me so I can record an audio and send it directly to this person? Because as you know, one of my favorite pastimes is watching a human head explode. Right? What are we creating? When people think, here's the thing. You are welcome, as people here in the feed may tell you, people here listening wherever may tell you, you are welcome to call me anything you like. I grew up being called a hair lip. I grew up being called cleft palate. I grew up being called whatever until I grew up and I was big enough that I didn't have to put up with any of this crap, right? But someone said the other day, well, it's just hurtful to people. Nah, put them in martial arts. It won't be hurtful for long. It'll be hurtful to people that want to bully them. But don't do this thing where we want to be inclusive. And inclusive means convincing people that they're fragile, that they're delicate, that they're vulnerable to the verbs or to the words other people use. Just stop with the inclusive because you're an asshat and just, oh, please. Right? We've created an entire generation of people that think human beings can be watered down wherewithal, which is why I said to start the show, we're all about defending natural human potency. What you were born with, the thick skin, the steel spine, the stamina to be able to look at secondhand stupid and go, what happened to you? Were you a blue baby? Did the nurse take you over to the table and drop you right after they cut the cord? Did something happen to derail, to fragment your brain? As Patricia says, and this is what I love about her, I got to tell you, Wayne, call me anything you want except late for cocktails or baklava if I remember, wink, wink, nod, nod. All I'm simply suggesting is that if your life can be derailed, you can be maligned. You can be offended. You can be triggered by the words of another. You're a fragile little piece of crap, and you need to go. When you talk about some DNA just needs to go back. Really? Is that the truth? You can be called a word by another, and that's what you're going to teach your kids and your grandkids and future generations? There's no First Amendment right. Here's the thing. You are always welcome to exercise your First Amendment right here. You can call me anything in the book, anything you want, because, as I said, probably to start the show, I couldn't give a crap about what you think about me. I really couldn't care less. So please teach your kids, teach your loved ones, teach anyone that looks to you for some type of influence, teach them to develop this particular philosophy. I don't give a flying rat's tuchus about your opinion of me. I just don't care. I just don't care. Couldn't care less. All right, I think I've kicked that one to the ground, right? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so look, if being inclusive, you want to include me, call me anything you want. Call me a hair-lipped Mick. Oh, well, you can't use the A word, the B word, the C word, the D word, the E word, the F word. We can't use any of those. Oh, why? Oh, because I'm offended. I'm hurt. I'm triggered if I hear something I don't like. Who cares, Muffin? Who cares, Petunia? You're offended. Oh, well, geez, let me just go upstairs, draw a warm bath, get another can of Monster, and slit my wrists because you're offended, right? Because your parents didn't tell you what real life was about. All right. Yeah, I ordered it at Amazon.com, and it was going to be here today. Just getting here, but it's a little spritzer, Wayne. You put cool water in. It's got a little fan when you hit it, and it just, right? So it'll just help. All right. Let's get to our next. I can't even, because I know what's coming in this next segment, Wayne. And if you think this one was something that made me go, you little Petunia. All right, let's cue up the next one. Return to Vendor. Because some DNA just needs to go back. Oh, very nice. I love the sound of that slamming door. Okay, return to Vendor. All right, and you know what, Wayne? I almost called you. I don't want to do a clipboard of doom, but you know the guy that was on the loose that killed that Houston police officer, I believe it was, overnight? Mm-hmm. They caught him. They got him. Right?
Oh, they got the second guy?
Yeah, they got I was getting a thing right before the show came up and said, they got him. They caught him. All All right, so let me get this straight. Why return to vendor? Because it's my opinion, and if you don't like it, I couldn't care less. I mean, is there anything less than like rock bottom less? Right, Wayne? Like, right? Is there any room from just marble? What's the strongest steel? You're an engineer, Wayne. What's the strongest steel on the planet? No way you could perpetrate that. No way you could permeate. What's the strongest steel on the planet? Titanium. Right? So I'm pressed right up against titanium. No chance of moving. I couldn't care less than that. The basement floor, titanium, right, is the bottom floor. Couldn't care less. Some DNA just needs to go back. And here's another thing. People go, well, Bri, you picked him for your return to vendor? Just because he killed a cop? Well, yes, that would be. But he wins on, he's got like 2. Like if you get a military award, they come with clusters, right, Wayne? So this guy gets 2. I'm so sick and tired of people with tattoos making the rest of us look bad. Right? Put a turtleneck on, you piece of crap. All right, so return to vendor, Associated Press. Why return to vendor? Some DNA just needs to go back. There's no fixing stupid. Right? You point a gun, you kill another human being, it's time to have your your passport invalidated. Oh, well, he's only 24 years old. Clearly he hasn't learned how to shave yet. 24-year-old Robert Solis was accused in 2017 of threatening his girlfriend with murder. Well, there's that. And he had been arrested early this year for unlawfully carrying a weapon. Oh, and he was out on bond. Well, we got to bond him out, Wayne. So this little piece of crap kills a police officer. That DNA just needs to go back. And look, let me just say this, right? Because all I'm doing today, Wayne, is I'm busy making friends, apparently, left and right, right? All I'm saying is, if you don't have the courage to kill him, call me. I'll come kill him. Find him, arrest him, try him, convict him, and execute him. Execute him. Someone said to me the other day, well, that's a violation of cruel and unusual. It's not. Look, you execute him, 5 minutes later, it's not all that unusual. Find him, which they did. Arrest him, which they did. Charge him, which they did. Send him to a trial. If he's convicted, pull the trigger. Everyone wants to worry about being triggered. I'm not worried about being triggered. Pull the trigger. Pull the juice to the electric chair. Whatever you want to do. But there are just some people that forfeit. You target another human being and you kill that human being, your days are done in my book. Everyone, oh, well, we don't want to hurt him. Screw him. You don't have the courage to do it, call me. I will. All right, Wayne. I know. Oh, look at us. It's almost time for Mortal Up. I love Mortal Up. Wayne, give me an idea. What is our next segment, please? Against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Works at the macro level to help protect the country. But it's also very important at the micro level to protect your own consciousness. What are some of the internal enemies that you and I have that we need to guard against? One is being overly susceptible to propaganda, any propaganda. Specifically, when you're told that you're evil, when you're told that you're racist, when you're told that you're somehow less than a full human being. There's times for you and I to sit up and go, I'm done drinking the Kool-Aid. Because it's easy to hijack your head. But our hearts, that's a totally different story. So the next time someone tries to convince you that there's some smarmy, evil intent in you, you can check that with your own heart. Is it true, or are you being played? And it happens again at the micro level as well. Are you everything they say about you? Or are you so much more? I'm Brian Brawdy, and that's your Mortal Up Minute for today. All right, so let's expand on that a little bit, Wayne. When it comes to Mortal Up, all I'm simply suggesting is don't tolerate them hijacking your head. Ultimately, they can't hijack your heart without your permission, but just don't fall for the craziness. Don't fall for the belief that you're somehow bad, that you're somehow a deplorable, that your opinion isn't correct. Now, could you be nuts? Sure. Could you be right? I have to hold that open every day for myself. But you still have a right to state your opinion. And don't let these bullies in the vampire class, don't let them bully you into submission. No one says you're here to tap out. You tap out, it's on you. And we posted on Mug Pamphlet the other day, and then just probably everywhere else around, right? If you served in the military, if you served as a part of our Veterans Day celebration, if you served, if you take an oath as a police officer, maybe a fireman, I don't know, firewoman, fire person, police person, you take an oath to defend against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I think it's a great idea. And you could say, oh, well, right, you're talking about all the stuff all the craziness that's going on in our country today. Yeah, to a certain degree, maybe, a little bit. But also, all enemies, foreign and domestic, in our own minds. And what I'm simply suggesting when we do it is don't fall for the mashugana of the fake news. Don't fall for the people telling you that you're somehow less than fully capable of thriving in this life. Buying into the BS of the vampire class. Oh, you need public servants. You need us to set the course. I got to tell you, Wayne, and this is one of the things. See, here's Wayne why in our pre-show meeting, you should have a checklist. You go, all right, Bri, what are you going to say so we can kind of qualify what you're going to say? If there is a national mask mandate where you can't go out of your house without wearing a mask, they should just send the troopers, the police, whatever you want to call them. They should just send them now. Give me an appearance ticket in advance. If they think that that's going to make all of this, all the Wuhan wheeze disappear, you should just come and give me my appearance ticket right now. Because I'm one of the small group, apparently, that's just not going to stand for it. But when it comes to all enemies, foreign and domestic, both at the macro and the micro level, as above, so below. Jesus increased in wisdom and in stature, right? As above, so below, and in favor with God and man. So at the micro level, don't let them convince you that you're fragile. Don't let them convince you, oh, well, you're susceptible to all this other stuff. No, you're not. You're only susceptible to the secondhand stupid you stand there and inhale. You're not susceptible to any secondhand stupid unless you give it permission, which is another thing. Now, we've talked about this before, but when you talk about hate speech, is there some hate speech? Right? Of course there is. There's some hate speech. But 90% of the time, maybe 80, maybe 70, don't care what you think of the math. At least some of the time, it's hate hearing. It's what you want to hear. I love these stories, Wayne, about politicians that voted to defund the police and then actually call the police to help. I think everyone talks about, oh, well, we should carry a voter registration card. Don't give a crap about a voter registration card. Elections haven't been real in who knows how long, right? The vampire class is going to do whatever it can to keep in power. What I want a national card. Little card, little thing, like a driver's license. And on your driver's license, you put down, oh, I'm an organ donor. Great. Oh, I'm a vet, right? That's on your license. Oh, I voted for defund the police. Or I voted against defund the police. And if you voted to defund the police, and it's on your little license right next to organ donor, right next to, Wayne, could you do a graphic for me? Right? Could you draw me up you can do anything when it comes to graphics, but can you draw me up a driver's license that says vet, organ donor, and do not defund the police? And that'll be the ID, right? That I'm going to carry from now on. And here's the thing. If you, on your driver's license, it says, I voted to defund the police, you don't get to call them. Whatever evil befalls you, you had all the backbone, you had all the courage, you had all the testicular fortitude to say we should defund the police, then you fight the bad guy. You fight the bad girl. I think 911 should block the numbers of anyone that voted to defund the police. How do you like that? That's what I think should happen, Wayne. I think on your driver's license, you should have to say whether you were in favor of defunding the police. And I think 911 should block any number of the people that didn't want the police departments. Block them right now. Oh, I'm sorry. So what do you get? You get a steady busy signal. You go to call 911, unless you let me voice over the message, and the message would be something like, "Dear asshat." Or crickets, that would work. "Dear asshat, you voted to defund the police. So have fun learning how to defend yourself. Hit 2 if you'd like us, after your death, to call the morgue to come and pick up your lifeless body." That's what I would like to do, Wayne. I'm going to record the public service announcement for 911. Listen, clipboard of doom time, because we're not going to do breaking news.
For a very important message.
Please hold for a very important message. All right. What do we got going? Clipboard of doom. Wayne, I've just made a command decision. I'd like to talk to you, see if I can't get you to vote with me. This clipboard of doom should be called the clipboard of dimwits. Here's our breaking news clipboard of dimwits. Mayor de Blasio in the
Well, that's all you have to say. And I agree.
I know, right? Okay, that's our show. Thank you so very much for joining us here at the Brian Brawdy Show. This has been episode 530. No, right? But breaking news, de Blasio says schools could close Monday. Monday, they could close schools in New York City. But it's odd, Wayne, because he made the announcement without a mask on. Now he's a little taller. Maybe he's talking over everyone's heads. I don't know. But schools could be closed on Monday as COVID surges in New York City. What if they're ever going to do an Escape from New York City where Kurt Russell, is Kurt Russell still alive?
I believe so. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Escape from New York City 2. Right? Just when you thought the Apple core, the Big Apple core, wasn't, and then he could do the movie. But no, let's get back to this because I don't want to forget about this. I'd like to record a public service. So, Wayne, if you can work on the driver's license for me, organ donor, decorated vet, and vote to fund the police. And then I'll work on the public service announcement from 911. Hi, we'd like to take your call, but you voted to defund the police. So let us be the first to wish you good luck in defending yourself, your family, your property, your this or that. And hit 2 if you would like us to call the medical. I'm going to do that. That's going to be, and then I'm going to send it out to 911s all over the country. If you vote to defund the police, your number should be blocked. I'm going to work. That's what I'll do, Wayne. That's what I'm going to do right afterwards.
Do you know the whole story about what happened in Minneapolis?
No.
That city council member who voted to defund the police. An Uber driver wouldn't roll up his window. So she called 911.
Get out of here, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about your Alyssa Milano. No, that's the real, not your lookalike, Governor Whitmer, but Alyssa Milano calling to defund the police, and then she called when that kid was shooting squirrels with his BB gun on our property.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know about this. So wait a minute. So let me get this straight. An Uber driver doesn't want to have the risk of being infected with secondhand stupid. So he leaves the windows rolled down, right? That just makes sense. You want some fresh air. You don't want that stupid to stick on you. It's like Velcro. It's like lock and seed, right? When you walk through without, it's like ticks in a forest. You come through and you got ticks all over your legs, right? So I get it. So the Uber driver wants the windows rolled down so he's not subject to secondhand stupid. Am I got the story right?
Pretty much.
And so this one who voted to defund the police now calls the police.
Calls 911.
Calls 911. Well, there's no curing stupid.
And then the Uber driver basically says, hey, I'm canceling your ride. We'll get somebody else out here.
Groovy.
So when she's talking to 911, that's what she tells them. And they said, well, he's entitled to do that. He hasn't broken any laws.
Get out of my car, you asshat. I am so thankful that the word ass is allowed. Well, I'm just great. But I could use that other list, Wayne, of all the words you know me say. All right, we're going to get out of here. Thank you all so very much for listening across the platforms, wherever you are, and most certainly on Radio Bry, because if you're out and about running around, we love being your virtual hitchhiker. We love riding shotgun. If you're triggered because I used the word shotgun, here we go. Let's clue it. I couldn't care less about your opinion of me. Couldn't care less. Couldn't care less. It's like that's why I say this has been episode 539, or as I like to call it, the greatest day in the history of the world to be alive, because your opinion does not matter to me at all. Probably should clarify that and say your opinion of me does not matter at all, right? But if you have an opinion, you're always welcome to leave us an email. If it's technical, or if you're like, oh, I've got a great idea, you can email Wayne at radiobry.com. If you want to get a hold of me, you can send me an email, Brian at radiobry.com. Thank you all so very much for listening. Thank you to our sponsors, as I do and close every day. Wayne, thank you for everything you do. Have a fantastic weekend, brother. I'll look forward to seeing you all back here on Monday. Have an absolutely fantastic weekend.
Thanks for listening to the Brian Brawdy Show. Until next time, get out there and mortal up.